Man, listen up. This video is directed for all the people out there that have the audacity, the outright audacity to say that meditation doesn't work for them. Come on, man. Let me break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all so you can understand why it's not working for you and how to actually make it start working for you. So the first thing is you got to understand what meditation is all about. It is all about centering your mind, centering your attention, centering your focus on the present moment, on whatever it is that you want to focus it on. If that's your work, that's your work. If that's your prayer, that's your prayer. If that's just being out in nature and just connecting to the source, then that's what it is. Meditation is a tool to do that. Just like you need a tool to hammer down a nail, you can use meditation to hammer down your attention on that specific target. So when you have that understanding, when you go do your meditation, you got to apply the same principles to it. It's all about keeping your mind still, keeping your mind focused on that target, that aim, that state, that just point in place that you can really just kind of dissolve into the moment, into the flow, and really tap into higher states of consciousness, higher states of work, higher states of productivity, higher states of just connection when it comes to talking to other people. You can meditate when you're talking to other people. You can get into that flow state, but let's just talk about sitting down in the mornings, at night, whatever it is, what time ever you want to do it, and just centering in your focus to just clear your mind, to just center your mind, and just have it not so sporadic. Because in the world we live in today, bro, there's so many things going on. There's cars driving, there's phones notifications going off, there's just thoughts about, should I do this, should I do that, wait, I have to do this at 3 p.m. It's only 12 right now, so I have to start doing blah, blah, blah. Like, your brain just starts going so crazy, and sometimes it short circuits. This is why meditation is so key. You probably all know about this if you're watching my channel, especially the second channel, What the Fulati. Like, you already probably tapped in to meditation, understanding its effects and this and that. But some of the people I do work with and some of the people that do comment on the main channel, stuff like that, say that, yeah, I tried meditation, but it doesn't work for me. And I have people, like good friends in real life, that in person I told them about meditation. They did meditation for a while and then they stopped. That's one thing I do not fucking understand. Is beyond me. If you start meditation, some sort of meditation practice, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, 20, it doesn't matter, and you just say, oh, it doesn't work, so I'm gonna stop. I do not believe that can happen. And once I started meditation, I kept it going as a daily habit and practice for about 3 years now. Like, it's that important. It's just that essential. It's like a building block. It's a base foundation to just better your life in every aspect, mind, body, and soul. That will trickle down to all the other aspects of your life. So if you aren't meditating and you're watching this channel, I don't know how you came up on this, but bro, I'm telling you, it's so key. It is so key, and you don't have to go think about doing all these different types of like retreats and this and that. You can just do it in nature, in your room, wherever you go, bro. You can even do it while you're walking. You can even do it while you're working out, but that's more difficult to get into those flow states while you're in movement, while you're thinking about things, while you're kind of like more not centered, like completely still physically, but you're actually moving around. But let's just talk about how we just sit down, stay still, keep our mind still. How does that happen? Well, you're probably thinking, oh, you just sit there and it's gonna happen. Yes, once you get developed enough, but you need to first flow into that state of stillness. How do you do that? By pointing your mind, pointing your attention on a specific thing. Like I said, it could be your prayers, affirmations, this and that, but let's even break it down even simpler. Breath, your breath. You've probably heard this all the time when it comes to meditation. You got to focus on your breath. But just focusing simply on your breath, like inhale, exhale, it can get like to the point where it's just too boring. too boring, too mundane, that you just lose track of focus, lose track of your attention, and then your mind wanders off to doing something else. Well, what you can do is specific breath work practices that you need to center in all your attention and all your focus onto doing that movement, on doing that breath work. And there's a bunch of different, they call it pranayamas, breath work in the Vedic philosophies, Vedic sciences, that you can choose from. There's a Wim Hof method. There's a bunch of different things out there. There's Hatha yoga, there's Kriya yoga, there's Kundalini yoga, there's so many different types to do it. The microcosmic orbit, all that stuff, man. Just search up all these terms, look at a couple videos. I'm not gonna tell you which one to do. I do have a specific one that carries over to SR and sexual transmutation coming out in my ebook very soon, so stay tuned for that. It's almost done. It's almost done. It's fire. It's banger. It's gonna be for the free 99 too, so don't trip. Don't trip. So I got a specific one coming for that, but for right now, expose yourself to different types of pranayamas and breath works and find out which one ever works for you, and then focus on doing that. There's just not just inhale, exhale. They have holds. You have to hold your breath. The way you do breathe, is it through your abdomen, your diaphragm, or using accessory muscles of your neck and stuff to really force an inspiration like that? Or is it, there's different ways to go about it, but I'm just giving you a little rundown. So if that doesn't work for you, which it should, that is the basics of meditation, breath work. You have to do both together. You can't just sit there and fucking not do breath work while you're meditating. You're gonna fucking die. But if that isn't enough, what you could do is something called mantras. It's simpler to affirmations, but it's just one syllable, one word, one phrase they use over and over and over and over through those inhales and exhales, through those inspirations and expirations. You've all probably heard of the Om, the universal sound. Om. You can do that with your breath work. So, Om, Om. You can even do it just in your head, saying Om. So that could be one. There's a bunch of other ones that you figure out which one works for you. And not to get too deep into that subject, but each one of those mantras, those syllables, those vibratory frequencies that come from the sound relate to a different part of your body, relate to a different part of what you're trying to express out to the universe, that eventually will come back to you. Because sound, the only reason you can hear me right now is my fucking voice, the vocals, and these frequencies are bouncing off the trees, the nature, this and that, and it's getting captured by this phone, and then you're hearing it on your phone, which is letting that frequency, that voice reverberate around the other stuff in your room. That's the only thing these things work. So you combine that with your breath work, and you combine that with your meditation practice at whole, it takes it up to another notch. I'll tell you that. It definitely takes it up to another notch. It really gets yourself super focused. You're focusing on a breath work combined with that mantra. Your brain can't really focus on too much other things after that. And side note, when it comes to meditation, I truly do believe that you got to at least do 10 to 15 minutes to actually even start meditation. I don't think you can just sit down in 5 minutes and get into that meditative state. But if you're just figuring it out, you're just trying it out, go with 5 minutes to start off. You're not going to be meditating, really. You're just going to be de-stressing yourself. Because once you really get into the 10, 15, 20 minute range, then there's like a break-off point that you can feel. If other people can attest to this, comment down below. There's a break-off period where you start to detach and you start flowing into that meditative state. You're not into that logical, you're thinking and this and that. It's kind of like you just start to like release a lot of these thoughts, these emotions, this and that, and you kind of just slowly but surely stepping to that void state, which is what deep meditation allows you to get into. It's almost that dream state, that state where people can attest to they've had near-death experiences. You kind of like detach from that ego death experience, psychedelics. You get into that mode. But that takes practice. You have to really hone in on that breath work. You have to really hone in on those mantras. So let's go with those two. And if those don't work for you, you can do it some sort of tactile feedback. Something you can focus that you can touch. Have you ever seen monks and stuff like that? Instead of a nice necklace or chain, they got mantra beads. And each one of those beads, there's usually 108 significance of the 108 existences you have on the cycle of samsara. Go check out my video on the main channel about that if you haven't already. 108 is also a very profound spiritual number, but let's not get too deep into that. 1 + 8, 9, number of completion. Let's just keep it there. But those beads, there's usually 108 of them. You can buy this on Amazon, probably cheap, and you don't gotta buy it from fucking the Himalayan mountains to make it real. Just fucking go what you got. But each one of them, you touch them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you do the Om or the breath work and the mantras combined with them. So you're doing 3 things at once. But it's all in unison, as the word yoga itself, it's all in union together to get you to those states. So you can play with the beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you're counting in your head, you're doing the mantra, and you're doing the breath work to go along with it. So that's another step on top of that. If you don't fuck with the beads, you can do mudras, gang signs. You know what I mean? They look like gang signs, but they're ways that you can put your fingers, put your hand gestures to get that same type of tactile response. Tactile means touching, kinesthetic. So your brain is focused on its touch, a sound, and another sensation of feeling, which is your breath. So you're really going to be tapped in if you try all those. So if you're someone out there that's saying, oh, it doesn't work for me, it doesn't do this, try adding on another piece to it, whether that's the breath work. If that doesn't work for you, add in a mantra on top of that. If that doesn't work for you, add in the beads or mudras. And if that doesn't work for you, then you got some shit fucked up, bro. You got to message me on Instagram or Discord, and let's try figuring it out. Either your brain is so fried out from social media and just the modern society in general that you can't just sit down and, like, even with all these things to actually focus on, you just can't focus, then we'll try figuring it out. But I believe that with some type of combination with those, for the people out there that don't know, that don't really get into those deep meditative states, you will be able to if you add in some combination, some type of way to go about it. But with that said, let's talk about when you get into those deep meditative states. How do you stay in those deep meditative states? You keep doing the mantras, you keep doing the beads, keep doing the mantras, keep doing the breath work. Kind of at a certain point, in my perspective, your breathing gets so slowed down to the point your heartbeat goes down, your blood pressure goes down, that you kind of can do breath retention, not semen retention, breath retention. You can do it both together. Obviously, you should be doing it. You already know what the fuck it is. But you kind of hold your breath, not like, and you just can't, you're just like turning red and turning blue, but you kind of just, you take such deep breaths because you're so into that zone. Like I told you, after the 10-15 minute mark, usually for me, I tap into that zone, the deep meditation zone. 20 minutes, whatever it is for you. Could be 30 minutes. If you don't get that much time, it is what it is. Keep it going, keep it rolling. But when you get to that point, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you get to that point, you'll come back to this video and be like, hey, he was right. I know what he's talking about. Like, now I got to that point, if you haven't got to it yet. When you get to that point though, your breath starts slowing down so much to the point where you don't have to take your normal rhythmic inhales and exhales. You can prolong it. And when you prolong it, like you're not breathing, you're kind of holding your breath, but it's not like you're diving underwater and there's waves crashing over you. You're diving underwater to go swim really fucking far. It's not like that. It's just like you just completely still. That is when you really get into those states of higher consciousness, because you're kind of dissolving. You don't even need the breath. It gets deep, it gets intense, because you have to work up to that point. You're not going to just hop into your first meditation and get to there. But that breath retention, this is what Kriya Yoga teaches, that you really kind of, on a physiological level, you're deoxygenating your blood and then reoxygenating it. Damn, bro, those are hard words to say. Deoxygenating, reoxygenating your blood. So you get this very weird tingling sensation throughout your body, throughout even your head. You kind of get a ringing sound. And if you've been doing the ohms or you've been doing the mantras, those mantras you kind of will feel the frequency after doing it from so long and getting to that meditative state. You'll kind of feel it. And that puts you in a very high vibratory state. Now, keeping into that state is the hard part. And I'm not the best at doing it, because sometimes I'll be like, oh shit, I'm in that state, and then boom, it's gone. God damn it. We got into that state, we were so focused, and then you get hyped. You're like, oh damn, bro, I'm low-key kind of dissolving, dissolution. The egos kind of go, oh man, the ego's back. So what do you do for that point? The first couple of times, if you do get to that point, you're gonna be like a little tripped out. You're like, oh man, this is pretty dope. What's going on? Sometimes you might get a little freaked out, and then you come back down to earth. It's kind of similar to when you really go down the rabbit holes of a psychedelic experience. I haven't done DMT, but I will do that. But I imagine it's kind of like the wind up before you break through. But this one is way more prolonged. It's way more slow, steady, and smooth. But you kind of see yourself kind of slowly dissolving, stuff like that. So staying in that state, what I've researched, what I've looked at, what I've kind of used to help prolong me in that state is that the longer you can hold that breath, the longer you'll be able to stay there. Because that breath, when you kind of just stop it, when it ceases, if you keep your mind focused, and what I like to do is roll my eyes up towards the pineal, the eye of God, this and that, drawing the energy, even your sexual energy. If you're on retention, you can pull it up using your pelvic muscles and hold that up there. You will get sensations of your third eye. I promise you that. I remember people used to talk about this before I really got into it. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? You use third eyes open. I never had that where I'm like, get a bright flash of light even when my eyes are closed. Like, that's what they say about it. But you will feel energy shocks almost up your spine into that point, and they'll start pulsating. Keep that going. Once you're in that state, keep pulling up that energy up. Focus on that now while holding your breath. And the longer you can do that, then you exhale, and then you take another inhale, and you do that again. You keep doing that again. You will stay in that state longer. And the longer you stay in that state, the more bliss type of euphoric type of feeling you will get. Because when the pineal gland is activated, it drips off dimethyltryptamine and serotonin, melatonin, that gives you that euphoric feeling when maybe you're on shrooms or MDMA and stuff like that. I'm trying to relate it to other sensations that you might have. I'm not condoning any of that stuff, remember that. But if that makes sense to you, you kind of click once you get to those states like, oh man, it kind of feels like that. Then you keep doing that, and eventually it will, either you will keep going, which I haven't personally. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I've fucking levitated during my meditation experiences, but to me, either you break off and you just slowly come back down to earth, to reality, to the normal states of consciousness, or you will extend it to the crown chakra, because the third eye is below the crown chakra. And you can get, when you hit that crown chakra, when you get into those modes, that's when you get into things like astral projection, and when you get to things like really getting lucid with reality. But that takes practice, that takes time, that takes dedication. Really, you gotta like practice it like a sport, like a muscle, so you can kind of get to those states. But I haven't astral projected, I haven't got to those states. Maybe I will hone in on it more to try seeing how far I can get with that. If you have before, let me know down below how that go. Did you use the methods I use? Did you use other methods, techniques? But that's, in a nutshell, how to make meditation work for you, for your goals. You don't have to go all the way up to that point and start fucking coming out of your body, outer body experiences, doing astral projections, if that's not for you. I think that's dope. I want to experience it, so I'm gonna try it eventually. If you want to do it too, go for it. If you just want to have a still mind so you can be more productive, if you can just be able to not be so sporadic and just have that monkey mind going on, do to the point that you need it. But you can also use all those different types of techniques I told you about to get you to that point. If just breath work itself doesn't work, add in a mantra. If that doesn't work, add in some type of tactile sensory feedback with the beads or the mudras, all that stuff. But if you want to do it, say you want to do meditation for more spiritual work, or a combination of all these things, then just figure out which one works for you, because it's kind of like a diet. It's a diet for the mind. It's like a detoxing diet for the mind. Some people have detoxing diets. Let's say they went on vacation, they had to only eat food from outside sources, they didn't cook anything. These type of people, hopefully you do have it too. I do have one. If you want me to talk about that, I will talk about that. Comment down below. But when you come back, you have a detoxing diet that kind of like cleanses your system, whether that's through fasting, this and that helps you get to that state. Another point that I just thought about it, fasting with meditation is key. If you have a full stomach, you can't, your gut brain axis, because your gut and your brain have like a direct connection and correlation to each other. If you're trying to digest a lot of food and you're trying to meditate, some of that attention and focus subconsciously is going to go there, regardless if you want to think about it or not. You can't even think about it. You can't control it. So your digestive system is something that you can't control. It's not like a muscle or like your eye movements. It's not gonna work. You can't meditate on a full stomach. It's just you won't get to that deep state, out of my experiences. And a lot of these practices also preach that. I'm not just sitting up here talking about only my experiences. This is something that's been there for a minute. Doing it on an empty stomach is really, really beneficial. And I also say doing it either right after a cold shower or right after some sort of like sun gazing makes it a lot more just like powerful. If you're able to do it in the mornings before you go to work, before you even look at a screen, so say you go on a walk, because I personally think the first thing you should do in the mornings, get some sun, do some type of movement, get hydrated, because you've been sleeping like this for 8 hours. Like, let's move the blood around, move the lymph fluids, let's move all the joints, you know what I mean? Get a little loose, get a little loose. Then come back. If you can do your cold shower, do the cold shower, straight into meditation. You'll be locked in the zone, ready to meditate. That's personally when I get the best meditation experiences, when I can go on a walk, I haven't looked at any screen, got my sun, got my water, come back, cold shower, right into meditation, boom, I'm in void. I'll see you there, bro. I'll see you there. So those are another things that you can add to the mix, like I said, with the mantras, with the tactile feedbacks, with the breath work. Combine that all together and let me know down below after you give it a week, 2 weeks, if it don't work for you still. because I believe you are fucking lying, man. And if it doesn't, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out, and we'll get you on the right path. Because, like I said, meditation is essential, man. Essential. Like I said, the people that do it and then say don't work for them and they stop, man, you don't work. Meditation works. You just don't work. You're not trying hard enough to make it work. You got to put the pieces of the puzzle together to make it work for you, because this is a profound, powerful practice. Might not even sound like it at first for the people that are just hearing about this. You can probably test this too when you first heard about meditation. Oh, okay, just sitting down and breathing is really going to make that big of a difference in my life. Yes, it will. It sounds crazy. It sounded crazy for me. But until you get to those points, until you understand, you feel those sensations of bliss, of just clarity of mind, of just focus, of just connection, then you'll understand that meditation is food for your mind, body, and soul. It is nourishing to your mental makeup, your physical makeup, and your spiritual makeup. So do not be sleeping on meditation, man. Do not be sleeping on meditation, because it will work if you want to make it work. If you actually put in the time, energy, and effort to do the things that make it work for you, do these techniques, then it'll work. And you'll be thanking yourself later on. And you'll come back to this video and be like, damn, man, you was right. That's what's up. Because this is what the Fulani out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping all that game so you guys can make these games. You get what I'm saying? Peace.